Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudirayet.
Tato Jayamudirayet.
I don't know if they're here.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati
Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 39. Neyam sobhishyate tatra.
Niyam sobhishyate tatra.
Yate dhanim gadadara.
Yatte dhanim gadadara.
Tvatpadhair ankita bhati.
Vatpadair ankita bhati.
Swalakshana vilakshitai.
Swalakshana vilakshitai.
Mama, just arise, don't do it. No. Neyam sobhishyate tatra.
Niyam sobhishyate tatra.
Yate dhanim gadadara.
Yate dhanim gadadara.
Tvatpadair ankita bhati.
Tvatpadair ankita bhati.
Swalakshana vilakshitai.
Swalakshana vilakshitai.
Neyam sobhishyate tatra.
Neyam sobhishyate tatra.
Yate dhanim gadadara.
Yate dhanim gadadara.
Tvatpadair ankita bhati.
Tvatpadair
Padair
ankita bhati.
ankita bhati.
Swalakshana vilakshitai.
Swalakshana
Swalakshana
vilakshitai.
vilakshitai. Translation and purport by given grace of Charnar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Synonyms. No, not.
Na, not.
Iyam, this land of our kingdom.
Iyam, this land of our kingdom.
Sobhishyate will appear beautiful.
Sobhishyate will appear beautiful.
Tatra then.
Tatra then.
Yatha as it is now.
Yatha as it is now.
Idhanim now.
Idanim now.
Gadadara, O Krishna.
Gadadhara, O Krishna.
Tvat yuva.
What? Your.
Padhai by the feet.
Padai by the feet.
Ankita marked.
Ankita
marked.
Bhati is dazzling.
Bhati is dazzling.
Swalakshana, your own marks.
Swalakshana, your own marks.
Vilakshitai by the impressions.
Vilakshitai by the impressions.
Translation, please repeat after me. Oh Gadadhara Krishna.
Oh Gadadhara Krishna.
Our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet.
Our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet.
And therefore it appears beautiful.
And therefore it appears beautiful.
But when you leave, It will no longer be so.
It will no longer be so.
Purport.
Purport. There are certain particular marks on the feet of the Lord which distinguish the Lord from others. The marks of a flag, thunderbolt, and instrument to drive an elephant, umbrella, lotus, disc, etc. are on the bottom of the Lord's feet. These marks are impressed upon the soft dust of the land where the Lord traverses. The land of Hastinapura was thus marked while Lord Sri Krishna was there with the Pandavas, and the kingdom of the Pandavas thus flourished by such auspicious signs. Kunti Devi pointed out these, these distinguished features and was afraid of ill luck in the absence of the Lord.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pathaka Swamin Iti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gaura Kata Damadhaya Nagara Grama Tarine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadhe Vasyatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Hare Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudanam Mukam Karo Divachalam Pangun Langai Tegirim Yat Kripa Tamaham Mande Sri Gurum Denatharinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So, this is yet another beautiful verse that how when Lord Krishna is walking on the Hastinapura. So this shows that Lord Krishna is so kind, is so merciful that he came and he walked on this material earth surface. Actually, the Lord is all transcendental and he does not touch material. That you could see that when Prithu Maharaj was doing his almost 99th heart sacrifice, at the time when Lord Vishnu appeared there, he, out of affection, he came down to earth and almost he was touching, but he was not touching the earth. He was standing a little above the earth surface. But Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is very kind. He has really walked on this particular planet. So that is the beauty of Krishna. And anything he touches becomes transcendental. The whole planet has become transcendental actually. Otherwise, how this Sankirtana Yajna is everywhere and living entity in any body, plant or beast or birds or insect, it's hearing this Hare Krishna Mahamantra all over the world. This is not ordinary. So Krishna makes himself presence in this way. And Krishna was in Hastinapura, which is the capital of the Kurus. So wherever he was walking, that impression was his lotus feet was there. Because of that only, it is full of opulence. So Krishna was leaving Hastinapura. So Kunti Devi was regretting, if you go away, then it will be not so beautiful as it is now on account of your presence. So this is an instruction from Kunti, and we should try to keep Krishna. So everything will be opulent. There will be no scarcity on account of Krishna's presence. But how Krishna will be present? He is actually already present. His presence will be more and more appreciated by this Kirtana. Tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti madbhakta. This is the statement by Krishna. He says that I don't live generally in Vaikuntha. I live, Krishna lives everywhere. Goloka yeva nivashatya kilatma bhutho. Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavitabis. Tabirya eva nija rupataya kalabi. Goloka eva nivasatya akilatma bhuto. He is akilatma bhuta. Govindamadi burcham tamaham bhajami. And Goloka namni nijadamni. That is his own abode. He lives in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, Nijadama. But still, Krishna is akilatma bhuta. Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavitabis. Tabirya eva nija rupataya kalabi. Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuto. So that is Krishna. He is present everywhere. He also says, what is that? Andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam. So he is everywhere, no limitation. He is present everywhere. Like government is everywhere. We may be sitting in a room, we may be sitting in an open field. Everywhere government is there. But the governor, when he comes, it becomes a special feature. Just like that. Krishna is present everywhere, but still he personally comes. When he personally comes, no. So not only that Krishna personally was present 5,000 years ago, but if we are sincere devotee of Krishna, then Krishna will be present as soon as we glorify him. Now, right now, here in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, he is present. Tatra Tistani Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta. Those who are pure devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also becomes present if there is a real offenseless kirtan. So Kunti, she wants to keep Krishna in her kingdom because of Krishna's presence, everything is victorious. So in Bhagavad Gita, we say Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. So wherever Krishna is there, wherever his devotee Arjuna is there, Sanjaya is telling, right? All victory, all opulence, everything is there. He assured, he informed Dhritarashtra. This combination of Partha and Krishna means all opulence, all victory. He assured Dhritarashtra that you are expecting victory by the superior strength of your sons, Duryodhana and others. But don't hope. It is not possible because victory will be there only where there is Krishna and Arjuna, or Krishna and where his pure devotees are present. So if we remain pure devotee, that is Anya Vilasita Sunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulyena Krishna Nusilanam, Bhakti Ruttama. No other desire. What is the other desire mean? Other desire means material desire. We are spirit soul. Our desire should also be spiritual. Just like if we are human being, we should not have the desire of a dog or a hog. We should have desire of human being. So just like that, we are spirit soul. Our desire should also be spiritual. Not lower level of desire we should make. So this is very important instruction from Kunti we should learn. So other desire, Anya Abhilasita Sunyam. Other desire means what is a real desire? The real desire is how to become a sincere servant of Krishna. That is real desire. Except this desire, anything is called other desire. Anya, Abhila, Anya. Anything is called other desire. So, how to become servant of Krishna should be the only desire. That is a process, that is a desire, that is also pure devotional service. So, wherever Krishna and pure devotees are there, when the pure devotees chant Krishna's holy name, Krishna is there. This is the secret. Tatra tistani narada yatra gayanti madbhatta. So if we keep ourselves pure devotee without any other desire, no material desire, zero. Sunyam manyabilasita sunyam. Zero material desire. Then you should know that Krishna is present there. 100%. And as soon as Krishna is present, then because of his presence, all opulences are there. Because Krishna is Madhava. Radha Madhava, we have it here in Mayapur. Madhava means the husband of the goddess of fortune, Radha Madhava. So try to keep Radha Madhava always. And automatically all opulences are there. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tata. If you can gain Krishna, this is intelligence. They don't want to become very powerful yogi, mystic yogi, the devotees, by practicing some gymnastics. They don't require it. Simply, peacefully, if you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then everything is there. So, Krishna wants to be present amongst his devotees, and the devotees wants to keep Krishna amongst themselves. Kunti Maharani is listening the same. And where there is a pure devotee and Krishna, victory and all opulences are there. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur is a pioneer, is a pure devotee. Today is the very wonderful appearance day of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. There is a book called Seventh Goswami. So that narrates the Bhakti Vinod Thakur's life. How much he loved Srimad Bhagavatam, how much he had faith in Srimad Bhagavatam, how much practically he has shown how the Bhagavatam works, even in the material world for the devotees who recites that. Very, very beautiful. He was present on this planet between 1838 and 1940. And he was a prominent preceptor. He is an acharya. He is a manjari. He is one of our disciplic succession in the parampara system. And his son is also one of another acharya. So that is our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is the great grandfather of our Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder of ISKCON and the first pioneer of this particular Krishna consciousness movement is none other than Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Jai Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. He wrote volumes of books, reintroduced the pure teachings of Lord Chaitanya, especially at that time when those teachings had practically become lost. So he has composed hundreds of devotional songs glorifying Krishna in order to uplift the consciousness of the suffering people of this world. He has corresponded with great philosophers, theologians, leaders, scholars, and professors of his time. And he sent his books, including the life and precepts of Lord Chaitanya, to different university libraries in foreign countries also. That is why he's the pioneer in the book distribution also. And planting the seeds of a worldwide movement of Krishna consciousness. It was Bhakti Vinod Thakur who sent his books to the libraries of universities in the foreign countries. He has discovered and excavated the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Yogapeeth. Along with his devoted wife, Bhagavati Devi, he has raised 10 children, and which includes the illustrious ray of Vishnu, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada, who is the dear spiritual, eternal spiritual master of our divine grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. Bhakti Vinod Thakur taught devotion to Krishna by his personal example, his life story, accepted, demonstrates a tremendous amount of courage, character, perseverance in the face of many difficulties, and gives hope to those of us who may be wondering just how to find the time to serve Lord Sri Krishna, his holy names, and his devotees in our ever so busy lives. So in many ways, he lived a grihastha life as an exemplary example, as well as an acharya in the parampara system. He wrote volumes of books. He has distributed books in the foreign countries also. He has preached. He has defeated all the so-called sahajiyas and so-called atheistic mentality people in the garb of brahmanas, those who insults Vaishnavas. So typically, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, for charting the course and laying the foundation for the modern day of Krishna consciousness movement that is established by Srila Prabhupada. Across the river towards the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, once Bhaktivinoda Thakur was who looked out from his window, and he had a vision that people from all nations would come soon together there in harmony through the blissful chanting of the holy names of Krishna, Sankirtan, Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari. So Srila Prabhupada is his great-grand disciple who humbly and fearlessly spread this Krishna consciousness movement to the fair corners of the world. And this vision of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has become true in today's date. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his childhood, he spent at the mansion of his maternal grandfather in, Biranagara. His environment at this time was very opulent.
என்னன்னா இப்ப சில பேர் சாப்பிட கூப்பிட்டுருக்கோம்ல சொல்லிட்டு சொல்லிடுறேன் இப்ப இன்னைக்கு பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் இல்ல.
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he was 11 years old, his father passed away. And then when he was just 12, his mother arranged his future marriage to the 5-year-old daughter of Madhusudan Mitra Mahashya. He is a resident of, Ranagata. So around this time, his uncle, Kashi Prasada Ghosh, who had mastered English and the British education, schooled young Kedarnath Datta, that was his name, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's name, at his home in Calcutta. And at the age of 18, Kedarnath Datta entered college in Calcutta, and he has started writing some extensively in English and Bengali. He studied English literature and taught speech making to a person who later became a well-known orator in the British Parliament. He was very taken by Christian theology, regarding it more interesting and less offensive than Hindu monism. the Advaita Vedanta of Shankaracharya. Kedarnath Datta in 1858 returned to Veernagar and found his native village ruined and deserted. A cholera epidemic had killed the inhabitants, including most of his relatives also. He returned to Kolkata with his two surviving members of the family. As a young householder, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he began to consider the question of the means of his livelihood. He was not interested in business, as he had seen how the apparent necessary dishonesty of the trade world had morally weakened the merchant class. So in 1960, in Bhadraka, his first son, Ananda Prasada Achyutananda, he was born. And Kedarnatha's wife died during childbirth. So sometimes later he married Bhagavati Devi. And our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the son of Kedarnath Datta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhagavati Devi. So he had a post. He had a post as headmaster of the Medinapur High School. And he also looked into various religious sectors. In 1861, Kedarnath Datta accepted the post of deputy magistrate in the government of Bengal. And later, after seeing the corruption of the government workers, he became collectorate officer. Then he established an organization called the Bharati Samaj. He wrote an English book called Our Wants, constructed a home in Ranagat, and then composed two novel poems in Bengali, The Deserted Village and Sannyasi. 1866, Kedarnath Datta took the position of deputy registrar with the power of a deputy collector and deputy magistrate in the district of Chapra. And he has become very fluent in Persian and Urdu, and he successfully settled disputes between tea farmers and helped secure public aid to build a school for teaching Nyaya Shastra. He became the deputy magistrate in Dinajpur, West Bengal in 1868. And the next year, while serving as deputy magistrate under the government of Bengal in Dinajpur, he delivered a speech in the form of a treatise he had written on the Srimad Bhagavatam to a large congregation of prominent men of letters from many parts of India and England. In 1873, near the capital of Orissa, in the town of Kamanala, there lived a mystic named Vishakhishen. So he would lean into a fire, then return to an erect sitting posture. In this way, he had rocked back and forth over the flames by his acquired mystic powers. He could also produce fire from his head. He had two companions going by the names of Brahma and Shiva. He claimed to be Mahavishnu. Together, they were the divine trinity, the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the universe, described in the sacred scriptures. So some of the lesser kings of Orissa came under his sway and were providing funds for the construction of a temple. They also sent him women. Vishakhishen declared he would drive off the British from ruling Orissa and would himself become the king. He published such statements, which were circulated all around Orissa, that the British thought him a revolutionary for speaking out against the British rule. So the district governor of Bengal drew up arrest orders, but nobody dared to act upon the orders, fearing Vishakhishen's mystic power. So, Mr. Ravenshaw, that time he was a district commissioner of Orissa, he requested Kedarnath Datta to bring Vishakhishen to justice. And Kedarnath Datta went personally to see Vishakhishen. The yogi showed some powers that would normally scare off an ordinary man and informed Kedarnath Datta that he knew well who he was. But that since Vishakhishen was the Lord, Kedarnath Datta better not interfere with him. It was enough for Sri Kedarnath Datta, who replied by acknowledging Vishakhishen's accomplishments in yoga and tantra and requesting him to come to Puri, where he could receive the blessings of Jagannath, the famous deity of Krishna there. Vishakishan heartily replied, "Why should I come to see Jagannath? He is only a hunk of wood. I am the supreme in person." Sri Kedarnath Datta became furious. He arrested the rogue immediately, brought him to Puri and threw him in jail, where he was guarded by 3 dozen constables and 72 policemen. So fearless Kedarnath Datta tried Bhikshakishan in Puri. The trial lasted for 18 days, during which thousands of people whom he had control over gathered outside the courtroom, demanding Bhikshakishan's release. One day, on day 6 of the trial, Kedarnath Datta's daughter Kadambini, she became seriously ill, nearly died. Sri Kedarnath Datta knew it was the power of the tantric yogi at work. He remarked, "Yes, let us all die, but this rascal must be punished." So the next day in court, the yogi announced he had shown his power and would show much more. He suggested that Kedarnath Datta should release him at once or face worse miseries. On the last day of the trial, Kedarnath Datta himself became ill from high fever and suffered exactly as his daughter had. But the determined Kedar pronounced the man guilty and sentenced him to 18 months for political conspiracy. When Bishaki Sena was being raided for jail, the district medical officer cut off all his hair. Apparently, the yogi drew power from his long hair. So he had not eaten or drunk during the whole trial. So he fell to the floor like a dead man and had to be taken to jail by stretcher. After 3 months, he was moved to central jail at Madinapur, where he took poison and died. How can God take poison? You see, these are all the bogus rascals. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, despite all the challenges, he has faced him and he has shown to the world, don't believe such rogues. So like that, there are wonderful, wonderful pastimes in the life of Kedarnath Datta, who became to be known as Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was living very, very strictly according to schedule. He made a time schedule, you know. So he make a very strict schedule, and he was used to go to sleep at around 7:30, 8 p.m. at night, and 4 a.m., 10 p.m., 7 to 8 p.m., he take rest. 10 p.m., he get up. You see, 7:30, if he goes to sleep, 8 o'clock he sleeps, 10 o'clock he gets up at night. And he lit an oil lamp and he start writing, just like Prabhupada, you see. And 4 a.m., up to 4 a.m., he'll be writing. 4 a.m., he takes rest for half an hour. 4:30, he will again get up, wash hands and face. He started chanting his Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. 7 o'clock, he starts writing. 7:30, he will read Srimad Bhagavatam. 8:30, he will continue reading or receive some guest if they are. So 9:30 to 9:45, he takes some rest, 15 minutes. And then at 9:45, morning bath, breakfast, he takes a half a liter of milk, a couple of chapatis and some fruits. Then he go to the court. He would wear the coat, pant, tie, all these things, double-sized tulsi, neck beads, and Vaishnava tilaka also. He was very strong in his decisions. And he decides immediately. He never allowed any humbug in his court. So like that, he was very strict followers of his schedule. 10 o'clock, the court begins. Up to 1, he finishes the court, he come back. And at around 2 p.m., he returned to office. Before that, he takes his bath and lunch. 5 o'clock, he translates works from Sanskrit to Bengali. In this way, he had a complete schedule and very strictly follower. Kedarnath Datta. So that is our Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So this is a very beautiful this thing. So let us sing the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Pranam Mantra. and then we will end the session. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanugavarayate. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Satchidananda Bhakti Vinoda, who is transcendental energy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict followers of the Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami. Thank you very much. So any questions or comments or realizations, please share with us. We have fasted for Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, yesterday being Ekadasi, along with Vamana Dodasi fasting plus Jiva Goswami's appearance day was yesterday. So today with Dwadasi, so I will let you go soon for the Parana breaking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much for the association. Wish you all a very happy, wonderful Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Avirbhav Mahotsav. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Patita Pavan Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrind Bhagavat Satsang ki jai.
Jai.